Welcome, friends, it's the MovieFilm Podcast. MovieFilm Podcast, enjoy the show. Zach and Sean and Brian are talking about movies. MovieFilm Podcast on the radio.
Welcome to Movie Film. This is episode 46, brought to you by Mr. Boy Productions. My name is Zaki Hassan, and joining me once again is my best pal, Brian Hall.
Hey there, Zaki.
What's
How you
happening?
doing? Nothing much, man.
Yeah, Sean is not able to join us once again this week, which is unfortunate, but we have to soldier on. We have a job to do.
Soldier on we shall.
That's right. It's just like, that song with the lyrics, Soldier On.
Can't help but soldier on. I know that.
No, this... Oh, man, this is going to bother me now. St. Elmo's Fire.
Oh, I totally thought you were making it up.
No, there's... I think hold on, I'm going to look that up. I think the song St. Elmo's Fire has the phrase "Soldier On" in there somewhere. But anyway,
Soldier on.
yeah, it does not. Have you ever heard St. Elmo's Fire?
Sounds like the Bee Gees. No.
That sounds nothing like. Yeah, see, soldier on. Only you can do what must be done. You know that.
No,
it's in there.
No, I believe you. This is a discredit to me.
Yeah, not
to you.
And it's also a discredit to my singing voice, because that was incredibly off key. We're getting emails like, "I love that song, and I'd like to keep loving that song. So please don't ever do that
if
again.
you please."
Yes, yeah. Please no more. So you just got out of a screening of Chef.
If I come off a little discombobulated, that's because I went straight from work to a screening of Chef and straight to you, Zaki, and the listening audience right now.
That is what I call dedication.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, Chef is Jon Favreau's latest movie, which, going back to his sort of indie roots, it's an indie film, and he wrote and directed it, and stars in it, and produced it. And it is basically about a chef who has this great reputation and has a critic sort of get under his skin a little bit, and he reacts irresponsibly. Looks like he's going to blow everything, so he's got to go back to his roots and decides to get a food truck and go back to the basics of cooking and what he's passionate about. And you've seen this film also.
Yes, I did.
Correct?
Yeah.
And I really enjoyed it.
Yeah.
I thought it was really fun, and it was I was gonna say a breath of fresh air. That feels so cliche, but it really is. I mean, there was a Q&A with Jon Favreau after the screening, and he talked about that, where he said, to make a movie that breathes, he wanted to make a movie that breathes. And you don't know, like, this movie doesn't go beat, act 2, beat, act 3, beat, end. Like, and I was feeling that during the middle of the movie. I mean, this movie switches gears in the middle. Like, it's about one thing, and then all of a sudden it's about something else. And it's not really plot driven. And you could say that about Swingers too, which is kind of interesting. I mean, it's really more slice of life. Put these characters in these scenarios, and you just observe them and kind of experience the ups and downs with them. And the movie just takes its time to breathe. Yeah. And I really thought it was very sweet and enjoyable, and my audience loved it.
After I got out of my screening, this is a couple weeks ago, I remember you texted me. You're like, "What'd you think?" And I said, it's just a pleasant movie.
Yeah.
And, I think that applies. It's very difficult. Like, you can quibble about the story construction and whether certain things are predictable or whatnot. But, I mean, at the end of the day, it's a difficult movie to hate on.
I completely agree. Because I can't remember which festival this was at, South by Southwest or something, but like the reviews were very down the middle. People that either really enjoyed it or people thought it was really simple, I guess you could say. Right. And it's like, it is kind of simple, but the thing is that's not necessarily a bad thing all the time. Right. And it's just, if it's a very pleasant movie, and if you are not in the mood to see something that's just kind of letting you enjoy being around people, and there's no crazy mustache twirling villain, and there's no, twist at the end, there's no dark ending. It's just, like I said, slice of life. And sometimes, you're just in the mood for something like that. And I mean, I certainly was, and I really enjoyed it. There's a lot of great people in here: John Leguizamo, Dustin Hoffman, Scarlett Johansson,
Robert Downey
Jr., Oliver Platt.
Yeah, you feel like Favreau was able to call in a lot of favors, and just like get his buddies in to hang out with him for a little while.
Yeah.
I think it's my experience with the movie was that I had a screening early in the morning. This was like 11 a.m. and I skipped breakfast.
Yeah.
So I made the mistake of going in, and this movie, I mean, it has these like borderline pornographic montages of cooking.
It is. I mean, no, it is. It is pornographic, and it is throughout the entire film.
It's so by the end, I was like, I desperately need to eat. But actually, there's a corollary to that, because I think what really hit home with me about the movie was this idea that it doesn't matter what your profession is, you want to do something of artistic value in some way. And for him, for a chef, even if he's a chef in like a food cart, that's his art.
Right.
And I thought about that because as soon as the movie ended, I was in San Francisco, and the screening was at a place called the Metreon, and it's kind of like a shopping mall in downtown, but the food court is a little bit more frou-frou than like, it doesn't have your Sbarros or whatnot. So there's like a fast food or like an order out version of like a crepe place.
Right.
And so I'm standing in line, like I got out of chef, and I need to hit the road, but I'm hungry, so I stop and I order a crepe to go. Mm-hmm. And so they're making the crepe and they're pouring the dough and whatever, and they're, and the lady kind of folds it, and I'm literally like, this is her art,
right?
Like, you know what I mean? All we do is we eat it and we crumple up the wrapper and that's it, right? But for her, that's like, I mean, it's like a direct corollary with what that movie's about,
Yeah, yeah. I mean, yeah, exactly. And there's a really nice scene in the middle of the movie because I have like two thoughts. My first thought is, I'm going to back up a little bit. Where you have Swingers is about Jon Favreau in his 20s and living in Los Angeles. This movie is very much about him being in his 40s and being a father and also trying to balance a career that demands a lot of him. I mean, I'm sure there's a lot that's pretty biographical. But yeah, so along with what you just said, then there's this great scene because it is about him and his son trying to connect in the movie. There's a scene where he's teaching his son how to make a sandwich,
right? And
they're just testing out their food on these people that aren't paying for the food, and the son burns the sandwich, and so the character is like, "So are you gonna serve that?" And the kid's like, "Yeah, they're not paying for it." And then he's like, and then Favreau's character's like, "Come outside with me." And it's funny, our whole audience went, "Oh," like we were like, "Uh-oh,
he's gonna hit him."
Yeah, but it's like he goes out there and he's like, "Look, like I'm not good at this, I'm not good at that, I'm not good at a lot of things, but this, I'm good at. This I care about, and like you have to give a damn because if you don't give a damn about this, then you shouldn't be doing it." And then he, asked the kid again, "Should you have given that sandwich to those people?" And the kid's like, "No."
Right.
And it was a really interesting scene. I mean, that's what this movie is. It's a collection of scenes like that.
Yeah,
and
little episodes.
Little episodes, yeah. And like I said, our audience really responded to it. I mean, there's applause at a couple moments, and yeah, just a nice, very easygoing but a feel good movie. So
right,
something a little counter to the summer movies out right now.
Yeah, and summer season is just starting, so we've got a few months of just Sturm und Drang. So a movie like Chef will stand out even more.
Yeah.
Speaking of like movies that kind of stand out a little bit, I had a chance to see a movie called The Skeleton Twins, which we'll talk about more in a few months when it comes out, because it stars Kristen Wiig and Bill Hader, who I had a chance to interview, and I have to admit, I mean, we've done a lot of cool interviews on this show. This is one of the few times where I like actively geeked out.
I can't even imagine
just hanging with them.
Meet either of them, I would have. Yeah,
yeah, they
really
were
exciting.
both so funny. It was just hilarious. But speaking of kind of smaller indie movies, I also saw 13 minutes of Godzilla.
Yeah.
I got an email from the Warner Brothers rep, and they were like, "Yeah, we're showing 13 minutes of Godzilla. If you can come down to the city, we'll buy you breakfast."
Really?
And yeah, so I was like, "All right." So, and I was at the Metreon, and this is like the biggest room in the house, IMAX screen, and it's me and 4 other people.
Shut up.
Watching,
I was picturing a packed theater of critics.
No.
This is
just me and like 5 other people in the biggest theater, in the biggest screen in the in the house, and for 13 minutes, all told, there was like an intro by Gareth Edwards, who's directing it, and then 13 minutes of Godzilla, and it's very Godzilla-y.
Well, is it the first 13 minutes, or is it sort of a big montage?
It's not.
Well, not a montage, but a collection.
It's a collection. So they show an early scene in the film, the prologue with Bryan Cranston's character, and it's in Tokyo. It's set 15 years ago, and it's him and his wife, who's played by what's her name from Chocolat? What's her name?
Juliette Binoche.
Juliette Binoche. Yeah, she's Cranston's wife. And then there's like an accident. There's like a nuclear accident, and then we cut to 15 years later. And Aaron Taylor Johnson is Cranston's son, and we kind of see what's happening there. And really, the only full thing we see is the opening scene, or the part from the opening. I don't know if it was the actual opening, and then it went to a montage. But even then, we still didn't get a full shot of Godzilla himself. So I'm very much looking forward to seeing the movie. But then again, I was looking forward to seeing Godzilla 16 years ago, right around this time. So I think the 98 Godzilla came out like exactly 16 years ago now,
Oh, wow.
So,
well, it's interesting because I figured people would be excited about it, but I didn't realize how excited people were going to be. I mean, on my Facebook and internet culture, I mean, those people are amped for this movie, and I've heard a few things, and some of it being people that weren't so into it, and my guess is that maybe they weren't expecting a movie that hides Godzilla for perhaps as long as it does. Like, I have a feeling with this director, Gareth Edwards, and knowing the movie that he did before this, Monsters, which is, it's sort of not in your face. It's more about what it would really be like to be in these scenarios, and you sometimes just see a tail, and it's not all about like the money shots and the crazy Michael Bay, whatever. And so I'm wondering if some people aren't getting exactly what they were expecting from it.
When the movie comes out, with the full movie.
Yes, people who have seen the full movie who weren't crazy about it, but versus people who do seem to be crazy about it. Like, it just seems like there's this weird divide. Is what I guess what I'm trying to say. And so, I'm curious for myself. Frankly, it sounds like the reasons that some people haven't liked it are the reasons why I'll probably like it.
Right. Yeah.
Like, I want to see something a little different.
Yeah. Well, and it's kind of interesting because I think you and I are at a point where we're kind of like, didn't they just do a Godzilla? And then you realize, oh wait, that was many, many years ago. Like, it's completely outside the frame of reference for today's kids.
Yeah.
Right. It's I made a comment earlier today because I had heard somebody else say this, how if they made the Wonder Years today, it would be set in 1994.
Yeah. Yeah.
And you realize, oh yeah, that's we're old now, And so like, my point of comparison is the 98 Godzilla, and I'm like, well, you can only go up from there.
Yeah.
Cuz that movie's just garbage.
Yeah.
And I feel like a lot of the stuff that this one is doing is almost reactive to that, where it sets up Godzilla as a monster and whatnot, but then it has an even worse monster that Godzilla has to defeat.
Right.
And that's kind of what you need to do. I was at the toy store the other day with my kids. We were looking at the Godzilla toys, and I turned to my second one. I was like, are you scared? And he's like very dismissively, he's like, no, Godzilla's the good guy. It's funny how even a 5-year-old knows that, you know?
That's really interesting, because when you watch Cloverfield,
right,
you know, you're not rooting for that thing. You know, you want it to get blasted. And when you're watching Godzilla, yeah, Godzilla is sort of, I mean, his name is the title.
Right.
You know, like you're sort of inherently rooting for him in a weird way.
I wonder why that is.
So, yeah.
Let's ponder this for the next hour and a half. The psychology.
Kick back, people. Here we go.
Here we go. Brian's been drinking Coke. He's ready to go. Now, moving on, I teased this last time, so I wanted to make sure we made room for this in the show this week, and that is my interview with director-writer Stephen Knight, whose new film Locke is currently in theaters now. And I mentioned this very briefly last time, but just by way of review, the film is a character drama. It's about 90 minutes of Tom Hardy driving a car, and that's it. That's the movie. And so it's either audacious or extremely lazy. I think I would say it's audacious, of course. So it's definitely something that the director put a lot of thought into, which he was happy to share with me his process as he put this film together. So let's go ahead and play my interview with Stephen Knight about Locke.
Well, I knew nothing about it going in. I didn't watch the trailer. I didn't read any of the notes because I wanted to have a completely fresh experience. And about 8 minutes in, I realized I don't think he's getting out of the car.
Yes, exactly.
So
It's normally the 8-minute moment. Yeah.
So my question is, where does this idea start from? I mean, do you start by saying I want to do something with Tom Hardy, or is it just I want to do something different?
Yeah, I mean, I just finished making a conventional film, and a couple of things have happened. First of all, it made me wonder if there was a new way or a different way of getting people into a room, turning off the lights, and having them engage with the screen for 90 minutes, you know, other than the conventional filmmaking process. Also, we tested cameras, digital cameras, by shooting from moving vehicles at night just to test the sensitivity of the cameras. But I found the footage that we had was quite hypnotic when it was on a big screen. And I wondered if that moving scene could become a theatre, and you put an actor into that theatre and shoot a play effectively. So you make a play with one person. And you know, would that engage audiences? Would that work? And of course, if you're going to have one man on screen for that long, it better be good. And in my opinion, Tom Hardy is the best actor that we have at the moment. And so I went to him before writing the script and told him the idea, and he loves theatre, so he was keen. I wrote the script with him in mind, and then he loved the script, and then a month later we were shooting it.
You know, it's interesting to me because what drew to my mind was a film from last year called All Is Lost, which I don't know if you had a chance to see that.
I didn't ever see that. No.
The two films are almost like two sides of the same coin in that that movie relies on almost no dialogue for us to sort of assume a fondness for the character, whereas here it's one setting, and it's through, as the story progresses through the dialogue, we come to know him more and more. And I just, you know, the notion of a play, as you describe, I kept thinking about that. I was like, how would this work on the stage? You know, and I feel like in that sense, this is a uniquely cinematic movie. In that,
yeah, I really wanted to use the conventions of cinema in this, where, you know, normally when you deconstruct a film, you talk about the journey of the character. Well, this journey is real, and you know there is the destination. The future of the character is ahead. It's through the windscreen and on the GPS. The character's past is in the rearview mirror when he talks to his dad, who's dead.
Right.
So a lot of things are sort of solidly there within the confines of the structure of the film. And then I wanted the exterior of the car to look almost chaotic, sort of lights moving and movement that's uncontrollable and uncontrolled. And there's Ivan sitting in his bubble of light trying to bring everything under control and fix everything and not being able to. So that journey was very important, I think, and it's important to have it on a big screen with that exterior that you can see and almost becomes subliminal in the end.
And how much planning did you put into the shots? I mean, did you storyboard it out so that, you know...
what we did was we tried to do everything in the most simple way, in other words, in the most obvious way. So because I wanted to shoot it as a play, we shot it beginning to end twice a night. So we shot the whole thing in sequence.
Wow.
Phone calls are real, and they're coming in from actors who are being cued
Wow.
to come to a phone line in a hotel conference room. So all that exchange is real exchange, and then we would end each night with 2 versions of the film. We ended up in the end with 16 movies.
Wow.
And the way to achieve that was, because we weren't doing takes in the conventional way, was I just wanted to say action once. So we had 3 cameras set up in the car each night in a different position with a different angle. We would set off, so the 3 cameras are rolling as the action begins. We would only stop to pull over every 27 minutes to change the memory cards in the cameras. Mm-hmm. When we did that, we also changed the lenses and the angles so that we had as much variety as possible. So it was almost like a pit stop in Formula One where everyone went in and did their bit. And we left Tom alone to stay in character, and then we'd set off again. So that was the method. And in doing that, because each night we had 3 positions to consider in terms of the cameras, we could experiment quite a bit and see if things worked and set the cameras up on the side of the car, the back of the car, all of those things. And then when we got into the edit, of course, you then have the luxury of choosing the moments when that angle works best. Always choosing a sequence on the strength of its performance rather than how it looks necessarily.
What was the process of creating this character? How did you... Now, you mentioned that you started with kind of the structure of how you would approach it. How did you decide what his conflict was going to be?
Another thing that I really wanted to do in this film was to not make a film about a kidnapping or a hostage situation or a murder. It's not something that would reach the papers or the local news. It's and what I think of as an ordinary tragedy, because it happens to someone who is an ordinary man. It's something that could happen to anyone, and for the people involved, it's the end of the world. But for everyone else, it's just something. It's not anything. You know, it's not a story worthy of news. So I wanted to keep it that, and to sort of almost stretch the possibilities. I wanted to make Ivan Locke the most ordinary person that I could create. So he's married, he's got 2 kids, he works in construction, and he works with concrete, which is the least glamorous material he could possibly work with. And then take that life, put into it a moment or a mistake that person has made, and watch that mistake lead to the unraveling of everything else. Mm-hmm. And that was what I wanted to do. And so Ivan Locke began as the most ordinary, an everyman. He's anybody. He could be anyone. So almost like if you point a camera at a motorway and you see cars going by, you pick one person, and it happens to be him, and this is what's happening to him that night. So that was pretty much what I gave to myself as the challenge, if you like.
And there that is.
Very nice.
Yeah. So are you planning on checking out Locke?
Yeah. I've just heard, from you and from reviews I've read, it sounds like something really interesting.
And we're, by the way, we're now finally hearing, we talked about this last time, we're finally hearing about Mad Max.
Yeah. And just this past week, I don't know if this qualifies as quote unquote news, but they tested it for the first time, and all the tweets and buzz coming out of that, people were really happy about it.
Yeah.
So I remember one specifically said it felt like with George Miller, this was the Mad Max that had been pent up inside of him for all these years, so he finally just let it all out, and it shows in the best way possible. So, well,
it's definitely like, because Miller had been trying to do it for years and years and years, and he had even gotten Mel Gibson back on board to do it. And you have to figure that, like, when Mel Gibson had his little run-in with the cops, and he's like, the Jews run everything, or whatever he said, you know, you feel like George Miller was the guy who was the most upset out of any.
Yeah.
Where he was like, oh, damn it.
Yeah.
Now I got to find another Mad Max, you know? Okay, so moving on to some headlines, we have some unfortunate news to report right off top, which is that Bob Hoskins has passed away.
Yeah.
Kind of an iconic actor, I think, for both you and I. If nothing else, just because of his role in Who Framed Roger Rabbit.
Yeah. It's funny how, I mean, you go through his credits. This guy has a distinguished career, and he's done a lot of excellent movies. But I mean, that's like seminal for people our age. You know, Eddie Valiant.
That was the first movie that I saw him in.
Oh, same. Yeah.
Yeah, and then shortly thereafter, I saw him in Hook.
Oh, yeah. Hook,
Right?
yeah.
He was Smee's me, right?
Yeah. And he had that really funny way of throwing a baseball. I remember trying to do that.
I didn't realize he was English until many years later.
Oh, yeah.
So that says something about the accent he was able to do in Roger Rabbit.
Yeah. And well, think about that, too. I mean, that's a big movie. That's like a Disney movie, Warner Brothers movie, I guess, even, too, in some ways. And like that they cast Bob Hoskins as the lead to carry that entire movie. And he's perfect. He's absolutely perfect. And there was something I posted on the MovieFilm Facebook page, a YouTube video where it shows the Toontown sequence where Eddie's in Toontown. And the top half is the actual completed film of the animation. The bottom half is all blue screen. So you can see what it looked like for him to act against absolutely nothing. But then in the finished product, look like he's totally in this world and things are zipping past him and he's dodging bowling balls and whatnot. And you're like, man, like now we've sort of like, yeah, people are kind of doing that more and more often. You know, I got Ian McKellen in front of a green screen for all these movies he's doing. But back then, I mean, this guy made it look easy.
Right.
You know, so I don't know. Just
Well, did you know that he had been cast originally to play Al Capone in The Untouchables?
no.
Yeah, he had been cast, but he had a pay-or-play contract, so he got paid $200,000 to not be in the movie. Which is because I don't know how that ended up happening. I think the way it worked was that Brian De Palma, who directed that movie, asked Hoskins to do it, but only if Robert De Niro couldn't. So it's really weird because so Robert De Niro wasn't available, so Bob Hoskins signed on, and then later on, De Niro became available, so they just paid him off.
Like, man, all right, sure.
Good work if you can get it. And then, of course, he was also in Super Mario Brothers.
Yes, which he's famously blasted.
Yeah. So this is. I actually found the quote here. He says the worst thing. This was from 2007. He gave an interview to The Guardian. He says the worst thing I ever did, Super Mario Brothers. It was an effing nightmare. The whole and you have to picture him in this thick Cockney accent.
Yeah.
For the full effect. The whole experience was a nightmare. It had a husband and wife team directing whose arrogance had been mistaken for talent. I love it.
Yeah.
After so many weeks, their own agent told them to get off the set. Effing nightmare. Effing idiots.
Speaking of John Leguizamo.
That's right.
Playing Luigi. Apparently they're brothers. This British guy.
They are Mario, and Luigi Mario.
I still never seen it.
We've talked about it on this show. Like it's like the Christopher Nolan version of Mario Brothers.
Where everything needs an explanation.
Everything needs an explanation. So they don't just eat the mushrooms and jump. They have these hydraulic lifts and all. I mean, it's really you can watch the whole thing on YouTube.
I gotta watch it someday.
Yeah, because that's how little the rights holders care.
Yeah.
So I mean, not in little pieces. Somebody just uploaded the whole thing in one file onto YouTube. No one cares. No one cares.
Yeah.
That's terrible. But regardless, Bob Hoskins, we will miss Bob Hoskins. So maybe Mario Brothers isn't the best way to lionize Bob Hoskins, but
Who Framed Roger Rabbit? Let's just say the title.
Yeah. Watch Who Framed Roger Rabbit, exactly.
Yeah.
Other news, they've announced officially, they've made official the movie that we all knew was coming anyway, which was the Justice League movie.
Yes.
So what this entails is that Zack Snyder will segue directly from Batman versus Superman, which if you've been following the news, Batman versus Superman, they've already got Batman, obviously. This is the sequel to Man of Steel. They've got Wonder Woman in there. They've got Cyborg in there. They've got Lex Luthor in there. They've got Alfred in there. And Superman has a cameo. I think it's a post-credits sequence. He's going to show up. And they're going to segue from Batman vs. Superman into the Justice League movie, which Zack Snyder will direct. And so they announced this as a big deal, and I have to admit I was completely apathetic. I have no feelings. I mean, I'm not. Let me be clear. I'm not.
No,
excited.
Yeah.
I'm not wanting to see it. I'm just not. Like, I feel I have no nerd boner.
I need to see Batman versus Superman before I get a boner for this movie.
Okay.
Because I don't know what that's going to look like. I don't know if it's going to feel special or if it'll just feel like, 2.5 hour Zack Snyder movie.
Right.
With, with insert name. I don't know what it's going to feel like. If it feels special and it feels unique and I can't wait to go back to that world as soon as it ends, then yeah, I'll definitely look forward to Justice League. Yeah. But what's interesting, let's have the requisite conversation that goes along with this. Marvel, what did they do? They made Iron Man and it was successful. And then they made, Thor movie and it was successful. Captain America, they planted all these seeds and they earned the Avengers.
Right.
So I'm not saying you have to do that, but it feels helpful.
Right.
So if you're going to have a Justice League movie, you're going to have Flash in it, but we have no Flash origin movie. I mean, do we need to see Flash's origin? Maybe we don't. I don't know. But, we're not going to see so many other people who, like Martian Manhunter, like all these other people in the Justice League, like, require explanations. Maybe this movie will be the, picking the team kind of thing, the introduction to everybody. And then their first battle is at the end. I don't know. But
I mean, it's Paul said it on our show like a few months ago, Paul Shirey, that, Warner Brothers / DC, they're in a position where if they're not, playing at the same level, then they're losing.
Yeah.
And, my thing is that it feels very reactive.
Yeah.
It's, we got to catch up. And I'm like huge fan of the DC Comics characters. I love the Justice League, but that's why it's funny because a lot of people are like, how can you not be excited? I'm like, well, I'm not excited, I'll watch it, but I don't feel, and it hasn't really got me zazzed,
Yeah.
And I don't understand that. I don't understand it, Brian.
Well, it's such a shame that they would even feel like they have to copy Marvel exactly, their playbook. And that's what this feels like. Because, I mean, who cares? You know what I mean? Let Marvel do their thing and be successful, and then you do your thing. Like, do what works for you.
Well, yeah. I mean, Marvel has sort of reset the playing field to such a degree that I don't know if you saw this story earlier today that Avi Arad, who's the former Marvel exec, is now kind of upset that Kevin Feige, who's the current Marvel exec, is getting a lot of the credit for making Marvel what it is.
I did see this, yeah.
Now this, I'm not a big fan of Avi Arad, so to me, anything that makes him uncomfortable, I'm okay with. But I mean, when you think about it, Avi Arad is the guy who took the Marvel properties, because he ran a toy company in the 90s, right? Mm-hmm. And this is when Marvel was in bankruptcy, and he essentially is the guy who presided over, selling off the movie rights to the X-Men and Spider-Man, etc. This is not smart business maneuvers.
Sure.
Right? And if anything, what happened with Marvel Studios that the way it is now happened after he left.
Mm-hmm. So, well, I mean, he would beg to differ with you.
Yeah, well,
you saw his response.
That's it. So just by way of context here, there was an article in I think Business Week or something like that about Kevin Feige that sort of gave him credit for being the man at the top of the Marvel chain. And the article in question basically said, oh, Avi Arad left over some disputes over money or whatnot, and after he left is when everything fell into place the way we know it now. And so his response was, how dare you, and I'm amazing. And I mean,
like he basically says that he put that all into motion.
Which, you know what, maybe he did, right? But there's putting something in motion and there's keeping something in motion.
Sure. Yeah.
Right? I mean, to me, when you, let me put it this way. Look at the Marvel movies before Marvel Studios.
Yeah.
So you have the Spider-Man franchise, you have the X-Men movies, you have Fantastic Four 1 and 2, you have Ghost Rider, right? And they're all they're functional, but they lack the forethought and scope of the Marvel Studios movies.
Right.
Do you see what I'm saying? And bear in mind, Avi Arad is the guy who basically forced Sam Raimi to put Venom in Spider-Man 3 and ruined the Spider-Man franchise.
Yeah.
And we'll talk about Spider-Man more in a little bit, but I don't have a lot of sympathy for Avi Arad.
Watch out, Avi.
Yeah, I'm coming for you. I don't know what that means. Anyway, moving on. Now, speaking of sequels that are maybe not as desirable, we've actually, I was realizing as I was going back in our old episodes, we've spent a lot of time talking about Beverly Hills Cop on this show.
We kind of have, yeah.
Because for a while they were going to do a TV series, if you remember.
Yep.
And that didn't get past the pilot stage, even though Eddie Murphy was in the pilot.
Yeah.
Right. So that had Brandon T. Jackson in the role of Axel Foley Jr. as a pilot for CBS. And about a year or so ago, I actually interviewed Brandon Jackson. We didn't play that interview on our show, but I had asked him about that pilot, and he was like, "Yeah, maybe they'll do the movie, and I'll get to do it." And I don't know if he will be a part of the movie, but they are doing the movie. They're doing Beverly Hills Cop 4. It's been scheduled for March of 2016.
Yeah? Hey,
So
it's close to my birthday.
Bear in mind, the last Beverly Hills Cop came out in 1993.
And is not talked about?
I mean, it's referred
Very
to
much.
as a bad movie.
Yeah, I mean, no one references that one.
Right.
That one is like they made a third one?
Right.
Right?
It's the Indiana Jones 4 of the Beverly Hills Cop franchise.
Yeah, if people knew of it to reference it.
So really,
Right.
By the time this movie comes out, the last Beverly Hills Cop movie will have been 29 years ago, because Beverly Hills Cop 2 was 1987.
Wait, hold on. You said Beverly Hills Cop 3 came out in 1994?
1993.
3. So going back to what you said about the Wonder Years
Yes.
and the whole time... Wait, was that before the episode or during the episode? We talked for a while before the episode.
That was during the episode.
Okay. So we've been talking for
Brian,
like 30 minutes before we actually started recording. But anyway, so the time differential of the Wonder Years airing versus, being this nostalgic 60s show.
Yeah.
Now, that's the equivalent of making a sequel, right? Of now to 1994 or 1993.
You just blew my mind.
Right? So that's a long time.
So, okay. This is insane. There is... I mean, I don't know how else to say it. Who's going to watch this movie?
Well, people will go because it'll be an event movie, but I don't think as many people are going to go as Paramount thinks.
I would agree with that. I think they're seriously... Like, I'm kind of like, what other 80s franchises can we dig up?
I mean, I want it to be cool.
If they made a Lethal Weapon 5 right now,
Yes.
you would want to see that.
Yeah. I know it's going to be, not to dog on it, but I know it's going to be more Lethal Weapon 4 than it will be Lethal Weapon 2.
Hey, I like Lethal Weapon 4.
I do too. But I like all of them. I like all 4 of them, but they're very different.
Yeah.
And they got a little more bubblegum.
Right, I agree.
And you know what I'm saying? So, whatever. Well, Brett Ratner, we even mention that? Brett Ratner's directing it.
Yeah, whatever. Brett Ratner.
So basically, it's going to feel like Rush Hour with Eddie Murphy in
it. Which is a weird way to describe Beverly Hills Cop.
Yeah. It's going to be like Rush Hour, except without a guy finding contraptions around him to construct these elaborate action sequences and run up walls and things like that.
But it will have a black guy.
Yes.
So there is that. So the first Beverly Hills Cop made $235 million domestically.
Damn. In 1984 or something?
In 1984.
Wow.
So think about this for a second. If you were to adjust that for today's income, that's more than $500 million.
Wow.
The first Beverly Hills Cop. The second one made $153 million. So
that's weird.
It's less, but it made
successful, but yeah.
So yeah. The third one made $40 million.
Wow.
Yeah. $42 million. So that's
probably Eddie Murphy's salary and the catering budget.
Basically. I mean, to me, that's fascinating that you get a drop off like that.
Yeah. Well, the time differential, you know what I mean?
The 6 years.
Well, yeah, you're right. I guess it wasn't that long.
Yeah, I mean, 6 years as opposed to 22 years. Like, why would they think that 22 years is going to be better?
I think no. I think people want Eddie Murphy to come back, but he's never come back in the movie we want to see him in. So maybe this is sort of the experiment, like, can we get Eddie Murphy back? Because, I mean, by all means, he should be like a Bill Murray or a, whatever, like someone from that era who's lived on, that we still want to see.
Yeah, but you know what? Just to that point, how many people from that era are still doing what they did in that era?
Yeah.
Maybe Bruce Willis?
Yeah.
Right? Because Harrison Ford ain't.
Yeah.
Well, he kind of is. We'll talk about that in a little bit. But, Bill Murray isn't doing what he did back then.
Right.
When's the last time Bill Murray made a broad appeal comedy?
Yeah. Yeah.
What was his last, not artsy-fartsy movie? Bill Murray.
Would it be before Rushmore, which was like 98?
Rushmore's 98. So there's The Man Who Knew Too Little.
Yeah.
Remember that?
Yeah. Like, what about Bob? I mean, that's like early 90s.
What About Bob was like early 90s. I want to say it was The Man Who Knew Too Little.
Yeah. Like 95-ish or something, 96. Maybe even 97.
I think that was 96, I believe.
Okay.
Right? But that's my point.
Yeah.
97 it was.
Yeah. Wow.
I mean, he hasn't... That's directed by John Amiel, by the way, which is random. He did... John Amiel did that movie with Sean Connery and Catherine Zeta-Jones.
Oh, that actually makes sense. Entrapment. Those are both New Regency movies.
Oh.
When you're in the family.
There you go.
Life.
I guess so. But yeah, so I mean, so Bill Murray kind of, and that movie flopped.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, it did, right? It made,
I never saw it.
It made like $13 million against a $20 million budget. Didn't even. So,
wow.
so I think, maybe Bill Murray did the smart play, which was to transition into becoming a respected character actor.
Yeah, but you know what? Bill Murray looks older. I mean, he looks good with the gray hair and the gray mustache in Grand Budapest Hotel, and like Eddie Murphy, I don't know. He feels more youthful,
right?
Let's say, than Bill Murray does. So I can still buy him running around with a gun in his hand, cracking jokes.
See, I don't know. I'll have to see that trailer with him with the gun, and it's like, dun, 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 dun,
Yeah.
Because you got to have the music.
Oh, yeah. It's got to get remixed by Skrillex or Nicki Minaj or something. And there'll be like a drop.
See, now I'm interested. Get Key and Peele involved. That's how.
Oh, dude, don't even get my. Now you're making me picture a movie that will never be.
I know. That's it. Just anytime you want to bring back one of these franchises, either get Jonah Hill or Key and Peele.
Yeah,
because he did okay with 21 Jump Street.
That would be crazy if Jonah Hill's action box office, earnings does better than Eddie Murphy, like a Beverly Hills Cop movie. Jonah Hill.
I'm willing to wager that would be the case.
Yeah. Oh, no, I'm positive, but still, that's funny.
I mean, the Beverly Hills Cop has zero cachet with today's audience. None.
Yeah.
It's completely outside their frame of reference.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I don't even understand it, Speaking of things that are outside the frame of reference for our audience.
I think you say outside of my understanding.
Perhaps. They announced the cast of Star Wars Episode 7.
They're making another Star Wars?
That's what I hear.
That's great!
So it's now official. So, Brian, why don't you fill us in on the straight dope here?
Well, there's been rumors for a long, long time. Everybody thought the original cast was coming back. Mark Hamill, Carrie Fisher, Harrison Ford. I mean, everyone was talking about it like it was official. And it really didn't become official till last Friday, May 2nd, I believe.
Yeah.
The weekend of May the 4th. May the 4th be with you. Which, by the way, is really cool. I love that there's Star Wars Day now. My parents, I talked to them on the phone today. They're like, "Did you know it was Star Wars Day yesterday?" and anyway, so I was telling my brother, I was on my Facebook page and I saw there was a Subway ad where they made Yoda out of like green peppers and tomatoes, and it said like, "May the 4th be with you." I just couldn't believe it's gotten there. That Subway is actually making Star Wars Day ads. That's pretty
hilarious.
Crazy.
Yeah,
but then again, this franchise is owned by Disney now, so
yeah,
to be expected.
Yeah, they're gonna make sure that they, if they can turn it into a Hallmark holiday, they will.
Yeah,
or rather, a Disney Store holiday.
Exactly. But anyway, so we didn't know who the newcomers were going to be, and it was kind of interesting because it wasn't necessarily, there had been so many rumors. I mean, people are talking about Zac Efron, reading for parts and all sorts of other people. But it ends up, it was a more eclectic sort of choice. I mean, you have Oscar Isaac, who was last in Inside Llewyn Davis.
Yeah, so by the way, interesting fact about Oscar Isaac. So when Inside Llewyn Davis was being promoted last fall, I had a chance to interview Oscar Isaac.
Mm-hmm.
And I turned it down because that's the kind of idiot I am. So I'm very happy about that.
You didn't know. You wouldn't even known to ask if the Force was with him.
I know. It wouldn't have even occurred to me.
Yeah. But no, I mean, there's a lot of, let's see, Adam Driver.
Do you remember him, by the way? He was in Robin Hood.
I don't remember a lot about Robin Hood, except seeing it with you.
He was Prince John.
Ah, man. I honestly, I remember very little about that movie.
He's the villain in Robin Hood. That's the first time I saw him. It's just, I mean, he's such a good actor in Inside Llewyn Davis. You forget that.
Oh man, it's so good.
Yeah. He reminds me of David Krumholtz. You know who that is? The guy from Numbers. You know that show Numbers?
Oh yeah. I see that. They could be like brothers.
He's like the more successful version of David Krumholtz.
Well, I hope his mother isn't listening.
I know. Anyway, sorry. Adam Driver is also in Inside Llewyn Davis.
Yeah. Well, that's funny. Who's probably best known from Girls. Andy Serkis is going to be in this. We don't know if he's going to do a mocap sort of thing or if he's playing, going to show his face. He's done both in movies. Max von Sydow is going to be in this,
which is very cool.
Very cool. He almost feels very Christopher Lee-ish, if you will. Kind of got the older, cooler, scary guy thing going on.
He's going to be Count Dookie. That's the
yeah. And then John, I don't know, Boyega? Is that how you say it?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, but he's best known as playing Moses in Attack the Block, which that is rad. When I saw he was going to be in this, I got really excited because I really liked him in Attack the Block. And then also Daisy Ridley, who is... Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
Well, he's the only African American in the cast.
Yeah. No Billy D. Williams mentioned so far.
Which is weird.
Yeah, a little weird. But, I don't know. We'll see.
Maybe he's, surprise appearance later.
Yeah. But and then Daisy Ridley, who's this apparently a newcomer, and that was another thing that was brought up where she was the only female that was mentioned aside from Carrie Fisher.
Right.
So,
what do you think about all this?
I think this is exactly what I wanted to see. I didn't want to see faces that I totally know. I don't want to see Zac Efron in this movie. No slam against Zac Efron. I just don't want to see someone I totally know. Like, I want to see faces that look a little more... I'm not associating with anything else, really.
Right.
Like, I want to see these characters become their own thing. And I think this is really interesting and encouraging. And they're all talented actors, too. From the things we know them from previously. So
They released that picture of the cast sitting around for the table reading, and at that point it suddenly became real.
Totally.
You're like, wow, this is...
You see the scripts in their laps, and you're like, there's a beginning and a middle and an end to this story. Like,
right.
It exists.
Well, end. It will.
Well, yeah, it's never going to end.
There's a beginning, and then we keep going.
Point.
And actually, that's been my question. I've asked it before, and I still haven't gotten clarity. Does Disney intend to make episodes indefinitely?
That's a good question. I don't know.
Right. Like, or is this like we're gonna do episodes, 7, 8, 9, and that's it?
Right, and then just make stories within that universe.
Yeah, because I've been wondering that for a while, because the further away we get from the original characters, is it going to be less interesting? Yeah,
I mean, is 1 through 9 potentially going to be the Skywalker saga?
Right.
And then you have this universe that you can play around in. I don't know.
Because I read an interview with, I want to say it was Bob Iger, where he was talking about how they have like 40 years worth of value in the franchise.
From here forward, they feel?
Yeah.
Wow.
And I mean, I don't know. I mean, who knows, right? I suppose anything's possible, but I'm wondering, because at some point you get so far removed, like you're not even if you have the characters still alive, the actors aren't going to be able to do it.
Sure.
So then it becomes, well, do we do like a Star Trek? Do we reboot it? Do we recast? Do we want to see that? I don't know.
Or are they hoping with whoever they cast as the new young heroes of this film will become like Mark Hamill and Carrie Fisher and Harrison Ford to a new generation, and then 30 plus years later, you have them playing the older roles. And
well, I mean, if you have to figure, if you're offered a role in Star Wars, it's like you've got two roads you can end up on. You can end up on the Harrison Ford road, or the Mark Hamill, not even the Hayden Christensen road.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, that poor guy is just, I mean, where is he? He's a Force ghost.
Yeah. Yeah, unfortunately on my Blu-ray. But I swear, if I could make one change.
Yeah, I remember you said that, how you hate that. That's the one change that I'm okay with.
Really?
Again, only in the context of all 6 movies. In the context of all 6 movies, I think it makes sense, because otherwise you're like, who is this old person? That makes no sense.
Yeah, except that's the only person Luke would know.
Well,
like, Luke would be like, who is this like brooding teenager?
Well, all
there?
Luke knows is an old man with a fried egg looking head, or a boiled egg looking head, and a weird thing on it. Like, I mean, it doesn't look like anything,
Yeah. I don't know. Anyway,
here's what I would say. Total tangent, but related tangent. Lucas screwed up because he didn't like he should have worked towards the end of Jedi. Like he's already made the ending of his story.
Mm-hmm.
So he should have cast accordingly.
Meaning
he cast somebody who you cannot believe in a million years could become Sebastian Shaw.
Oh, I see.
Right? There's
Sure.
no way you see Hayden Christensen becoming Sebastian Shaw in the afterlife.
Yeah.
Doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
And so Lucas' solution is, let's just change the ending that I already made.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
Anyway, moving on. Now, actually, in the Star Wars, staying in the Star Wars universe, they also released the trailer for this new Star Wars TV series, animated series.
Rebels.
Star Wars Rebels, which replaces Clone Wars, which just ended, which was very good. I enjoyed it, and which is all on Netflix now, by the way. So now you really should check it out.
Yeah. I've never gotten really into these side shows, and I'm a big fan of the universe. So
the Clone Wars show, again, I would recommend you watch it from beginning to end because I think it actually adds a lot to the prequel portion of the universe.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But what have you heard about Rebels?
Not a lot, to be honest, but it seems like what I'm seeing is that it takes place between episode 3 and episode 4, right? So this is kind of like the inception or conception, I guess, of the rebellion.
Inception, that would be interesting.
Yeah. Heady.
Right.
But it seems like there's a lot of potential there, but it's interesting because it's on it's a Disney show and it is for kids. And so in a way you almost might be handcuffed a little bit to have sort of like, okay, well, this has to involve a boy, and a boy everyone can relate to. And he's got to be like this, but not too this. So he should be like that, but not too much that. And you might be a little constrained from something that could really,
I have no idea.
It's midnight, people. It's midnight. No, but seriously,
you just kind of trailed off there.
There might be a little bit, I don't know, I have not seen it, but maybe a little bit of a struggle between being a Disney show and also being sort of existing as a Star Wars show. And
right.
I don't know. I have no idea. And so I'm really hoping that it strikes that balance and is really cool. Because when I saw the trailer, just seeing the stormtroopers running around shooting, I was like, yeah.
Right. Yeah. That was me too.
Yeah.
That's enough to get my juices flowing. Yeah.
And not clone troopers, stormtroopers.
That's right. We've now advanced. Yeah.
Yeah.
By the way, did you see the Simpsons, the Lego episode?
I did. I DVR'd it and I watched it last night. I was at Big Bear all weekend, and I came back and I tried watching it and I fell asleep, actually, I think about 2/3 into it. But what I saw looked pretty cool.
It was good. Yeah. So, the Simpsons, at this point, all they have is gimmicks. That's the only thing that's keeping them going.
Well, and it paid off. Apparently, this was like the biggest ratings they've had in a while.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah.
Well, and I'm glad because I thought it was a good episode. It was basically the Lego Movie. I mean, they even acknowledge it in the show. I don't know if did you see the end of it or you slept?
I did. It felt like it was a dream. That must have been the ending.
Yeah. Well, they have because in the movie in the episode, Homer is trying to he spends time with Lisa, but then she's kind of making time with her own friends. So he invents in his mind this Lego universe where everything stays the same and nothing changes. Right. And then he finds his way out of that, and he's like, oh, I learned I created a Lego world, and I learned how to be a better parent or something like that. And then Marge is like, oh, that's just like the plot of, and he's like, nothing at all, And in the background you see like the Emmett and
I did see that.
I thought that was clever, because my understanding is that they'd been working on this episode for a while,
Yeah, I mean this had to be written over a year ago.
Yeah, and then the
Like,
Lego
animation
movie came
takes a
out,
while.
so they had to fix.
You have to acknowledge it.
Yeah, so it was very clever, and it was
Yeah.
nice. It was like an old timey plot episode of The Simpsons. It was like Lisa's Pony or something.
Yeah,
The good old days.
yeah,
Yeah.
Well, I'll finish it based on your recommendation.
The last 3 minutes that you slept through.
Yeah.
Speaking of television, let's go ahead and do this week's trailer, which is for Gotham, the new Batman-centric TV series.
It's my new partner, Jim Gordon.
You have a little danger in your eye. I wonder what you plan to do with that.
You killed people before? That was war. This is war. We're at war.
All right. So this trailer looks pretty sweet. What do you think?
I thought it looked pretty cool. My main complaint about when we've talked about this show or other network shows is that they all, if you tell me there's going to be a Gotham show on CBS, I can tell you exactly what it'll look like.
Right.
CBS has that oversaturated, very colorful palette, and then NBC's got this more sort of muted, washed out palette, and Fox looks like that. And so when I heard that Fox was going to do a Batman show, I was like, I can already see it. I already know what it's going to feel like. But yeah, when I watched this trailer, I was pleasantly surprised. I felt like it felt like its own thing. It didn't necessarily feel beholden to Fox's look or feel.
Yeah.
And I thought it looked pretty cool. What do you think?
So we've got Ben McKenzie as the young Jim Gordon, which I think is great casting.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
I think he's great. We've got Donal Logue as Harvey Bullock. I think that's great casting.
Yeah.
And
Always reliable.
He really is. I mean, it's
Yeah.
that's almost like that. He should just put that on his business card.
Yeah.
Donal Logue, always reliable, because you put him in, you pretty much you're going to get a certain level of quality from him, and I think as that character, I think he's a really good choice. I'm not 100% crazy about sort of being like, it's like the Flintstone kids version of all the Batman villains.
Yeah.
I'm not crazy about that, but you know what I was thinking as I was watching this? I was like, what other character is there in comics? What other supporting character in there is in comics who you could do something like this with? Because I can't think of any.
Yeah.
Like I feel like Jim Gordon is one of the few the proud.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, you couldn't do a Lois Lane TV series.
You could, but it wouldn't be the same.
Well, like, in fact, that show, Lois and Clark, right?
Yeah.
That the original pitch for that show was it was going to be called Lois Lane's Daily Planet. And it was going to be Lois Lane, and we would never see Superman. He would just be referred to.
Oh, I see. I was thinking pre-Superman, but
It wouldn't be pre-Superman. So you would have Clark Kent and stuff, but you would never see Superman. And when just that makes no sense.
Well, and what's interesting about this too is that Bruce Wayne, I should say, is very young.
Yeah.
It's not like he's going to put on the cape in 2 years.
Right.
Unless they all of a sudden do like a 15-year flash forward or something.
Right.
So, which is an interesting choice because then, and that's another thing. Because you see Selena Kyle, who looks like she's like 15 or something like that. You see Penguin, who looks like he's like 23 or 4.
Right.
So, I mean, these characters are present and apparently going to be a part of the show, but they are very far years removed from the characters that we know. So, I mean, is it going to be, say this show runs, if it's successful, say it runs for like 6-7 years. I mean, is it going to be a really long prequel?
Yeah.
Will they ever become the Penguin? When will he become the Penguin? When will she become Catwoman? When is he going to become Batman? Because again, he looks like he's probably like 9 or 10.
Well, that's the thing, right? Because you can't have them become the villains that they need to be, because that robs Batman of his important role.
That's a good point.
Right? Because they're not Jim Gordon villains, they're Batman villains.
Right.
Like, I'm kind of like, you should be setting up the Gotham before these villains.
Yeah.
You know, and show how it was just as shitty before,
Yeah.
but in a different way. And I think by doing that, it makes Gordon more of an impressive character. The idea that, you know what, he's been around the block already before Batman even showed up. He's done this,
Right.
and he was Gotham's Batman before Gotham's Batman. You know what I mean?
And then Batman did the things Gordon couldn't do. And
Right.
That's why they became such a good partnership. Sure.
And they're both the same in the sense that Batman is a vigilante, but him and Gordon, I mean, this is, the Nolan movies show this too, right? That they're both of the same cloth in that they're both good men.
Right.
I mean, I'm not criticizing the show because I think, from what I see, it looks very good. I think it looks very intriguing.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm hopeful. I think it's great that there's so many comic-based shows on TV.
Yeah. Yeah. Being treated with a lot of thought and care.
Yeah. Because between just DC, we're talking about DC, there's Gotham, there's Flash, which is spinning off from Arrow.
Mm-hmm.
That's 3 DC shows.
Yeah.
And then there's that potential Constantine show that we were talking about. I mean, it seems like they're doing all their best work on television, potentially.
Yeah.
And then Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., on the Marvel end, which, by the way, I've been telling you, you should really check out lately.
Yeah. Yeah. I've heard it from you. I've been reading it in a lot of places that it's really become one of the best new shows.
Yeah. And
season,
what I read is that they're also doing the Agent Carter TV series.
Yeah, I heard about that.
Yeah, so I mean, it seems like that's a legit thing that they're gonna, assuming Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. gets renewed, which I'm assuming it will. They'll do like the fall run, and then they'll have a gap in the middle, and they'll run Agent Carter for like 13 episodes, and then they'll do Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. like the back half.
That's interesting. Well, that'll be interesting because her show is going to be a period piece.
It would be a period piece about Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
Yeah.
So you could do some real interesting stuff where you set stuff up in the past show and then pay it off in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
That sounds really cool. It sounds expensive, but
yeah, right. Well, it's Disney. I mean, they've got the money. I mean, here's the thing, actually. If you're Disney, right, and you've got these various Marvel properties, you can afford to play the long game with them because the revenue streams are not just advertiser driven. Sure. You know what I mean? Because you've got the DVDs down the line. I mean, they can market and package and repackage these Marvel Cinematic Universe portions and parts in any number of ways.
Yeah.
I mean, it's pretty smart.
Yeah.
Now, speaking of Marvel and speaking of making money off of these things, let's go ahead and shift into the focus for this week's episode. So I guess, Brian, would this constitute the first spoiler wall for the season?
Wait, what do you mean?
Well, this is the first big movie of the season, and we're having our first big spoiler conversation. Sorry.
Well, should we say our first general impressions and then go into spoilers?
Why don't you do that? Go ahead.
Well, what is our centerpiece today?
Oh, right. I guess we should mention that. It's midnight, people. We are talking, of course, about The Amazing Spider-Man 2.
2.
Not to be confused.
Spider harder. Yeah.
Spider harder. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's midnight, people. It's midnight.
Yeah. Well, I'll just give, because I know some people, they have to wait a week or 2 or 3 before they can see these things. So I'm just going to give my general impression. Zach, you give your general impression.
Before you do that, hold on. So by way of context, this is the sequel to The Amazing Spider-Man from 2012. This is not to be confused with the first Spider-Man 2 from 10 years ago. However, this is the first sequel to the reboot, but it's the third sequel overall and the 5th Spider-Man overall.
Everybody got that?
Are you with me so far? All right, good. So this brings back Andrew Garfield, brings back Emma Stone. It's still directed by Mark Webb. It opened this past weekend to just under $92 million. So that's a lot of salami. Is that a phrase? I don't know. Is that a thing? People, if it isn't, it should be.
Yeah.
Okay, so what'd you think? Now you did not like The Amazing Spider-Man 1, as I recall.
I was not crazy about it, no.
Okay, so what did you think of the sequel then?
I did not like the first Amazing Spider-Man because I wasn't interested in the villain. I forgot it was about lizards till just recently. I felt like most of the movie was just this really awkward dance of trying to do the first Sam Raimi Spider-Man movie again, but just different enough to warrant it existing. And it just didn't capture me. And I felt like Andrew Garfield had this really... They tried really hard. You know what mumblecore is, Zaki?
I know the term. Can you explain it to me, though?
Mumblecore is sort of like this genre of indie film where it's like these actors and there's really no script and they just kind of talk like, well, like sort of like how people talk. I guess it's sort of like when people don't speak in coherent sense. Mumblecore.
Okay.
So anyway, Andrew Garfield is like doing this like mumblecore thing to the max in the first movie where it's like, no, man. He's like, it's like a real teenager. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
And it was driving me crazy. So anyway, I just did not walk away with very much from that movie, aside from Peter Parker and the relationship with Gwen Stacy's father.
Okay.
That was the thing that I walked away with Spider-Man 1. That was about it.
Okay, now that's interesting, actually. So let's dwell on that for a second.
Mm-hmm.
The relationship between him and the father.
Yes.
Why did that work for you?
Well, because Gwen Stacy's father was a police officer who, in the first film, Spider-Man is this newcomer in New York City, and people don't know whether he's a good guy or a bad guy. The cops obviously don't like him because he's seems to be doing their job, but he's not necessarily with them. They don't know who he's with. And so they're threatening him, and he's doing things in some ways better than they are. And so when the father finds out that it's this vigilante is the boy who's dating his daughter, there's a whole wealth of emotion going on, but mostly, look, you cause trouble is going to come your way because of what you do. Stay away from my daughter. Right. And it's not a threat. It's like, look, man, if you really care about my daughter, you'll understand.
Right.
Like there's something very like real about what they had between each other and an understanding. And so you sort of understand. You're like, well, yeah, I guess if that's how the dad feels, he's not wrong. So it's sort of like you understand why Peter would. A lot of these movies, they feel contrived how you got to get the guy away from the girl so he can just get back with her at the end. But I was like, yeah, I get that. That resonates. That felt very real. So anyway, with Amazing Spider-Man 2, I actually really liked it. I mean, I'm not going to, say it's my favorite movie of the year, and I didn't really think about it the day after. But for being a, summer superhero popcorn flick, I thought it was a big improvement from the first one. I thought they toned down Garfield a little bit, so he was a little more... a little more. I like Andrew Garfield, by the way. I thought he was amazing in The Social Network. He's been good in other things, but
So you did not like him in the first Spider-Man?
I wasn't crazy about him. I know everybody was like, oh, he's the best thing about it. And I just felt like he was trying so hard to be authentic.
Well, I think it's all about comparison, right? Because Tobey Maguire was too much of droopy dog.
Sure. Oh, yeah, for sure.
I love Mary Jane. Why doesn't anybody love me? That's my Tobey Maguire.
It's totally
impression.
true. It's totally true. But I just thought this movie didn't have the burden of having to retread everything we already know. This was a new story with Spider-Man.
Okay.
So I wasn't like, oh yeah, I remember this scene when it had different actors in it.
Right, for sure.
And this was it's from the very beginning. It was its own thing, and I just thought it was fun. I thought the action was cool. I have my problems with it, which we'll get into with spoilers. I mean, I feel like this is the main complaint you're going to hear, but that it's overstuffed with villains.
Yeah.
And it's really, this film is setting up the chessboard for the films to follow.
Right.
And that's very true. There is, it does suffer a little bit of Iron Man 2 syndrome.
All right. Well, why don't we talk some spoilers here?
Okay. But look, if you think Spider-Man looks fun and you want to go see it, you're going to enjoy it.
There you
That's
go.
what I'll say.
Okay.
Yeah.
Spoilers. Thank you. We should really just
Yeah, I shouldn't have even done that because now I just realized how cheap the show is.
Yeah. We make lo-fi look high tech. That's where we're at. So let's get into it a little bit now.
But can I start with the beginning then? Because I want to talk about this with you. I've been looking forward to talking about this with you.
Yeah, go for it. Let's do it.
The opening scene involves Peter Parker's parents and what their secret is, quote unquote, because the first movie was sort of like, we're going to tell you the story of Peter Parker you never heard.
Yeah.
And so they didn't
really care about until now.
Yeah. You didn't
Right?
know you wanted to. Yeah. And yeah, they didn't do that, apparently. That was like the big hook when they were advertising it, but they apparently cut it all out of the movie. Right. But in this movie, it opens on the story of Peter Parker's parents. And I was like, something about it, I was like, this is kind of cool.
Mm-hmm.
And then it hit me, wait a minute. This is the opening of Star Trek at 50%.
Okay.
Right? And it was written by Kurtzman and Orsi.
That's true.
It is.
That's true.
It's about the parent, and it's on a ship that's going to crash.
That's
Except
true.
they're on an airplane, and they have to do something kind of like heroic and, save the information and the whatever. But it just was cool as a way to jump into action and something exciting and to get you like on their side and feeling for them. But it wasn't. As soon as I realized it was the opening for Star Trek, retreaded, it became less exciting to me.
That's really interesting.
Because that opening to Star Trek, that's one of the best openings. I'm going to say it, that's one of the best openings to a movie I've ever seen.
Oh, for sure. With Chris Hemsworth and all that.
Yeah. Because, that was a 10-minute short film that had me almost dry sobbing. And the title card hadn't even come up yet.
Yeah.
So, anyway,
Okay,
Yeah, go ahead, sorry.
I was going to say, I think the performances are good.
Sure.
We're still on the opening here. The performances are good. I think it's staged really well.
Yeah, that's true.
And
I'm sort of being silly, I guess.
No, but
with
I
the
get it.
comparison.
I think part of it for me, I thought it was effective in the sense that I like Campbell Scott.
Mm-hmm.
And he's just a likable guy, and so in that sense, you feel a certain amount of rooting interest. I will say, this is something that the comics have done too, where they in the comic books, as I recall, and I don't read Spider-Man comics anymore, but they made Peter Parker's parents like secret agents, and very sort of what's the word I'm looking for? Like almost fantasy characters.
Sure.
And I don't like that because it makes it harder to relate to Peter Parker.
Right.
And there's some of that at work here when, I think that the idea that this kid just got orphaned and it's just shitty and that's it, like without needing this elaborate conspiracy and
Right.
I feel like that's more powerful.
Right.
I don't think it's a deal breaker, but that's definitely something. It feels like this series, this second Spider-Man series, is driven just as much by the need to be different from the previous series as anything else.
Sure.
And if you notice, a lot of the creative choices they make, I think, are sort of revolve around that.
Right.
And including the use of other characters who we'll talk about. But I think, notwithstanding what I just said, I think the opening is an effective opening.
It is. Maybe it's just because all of a sudden it hit me that they were playing a card I had seen before.
Right. They're kind of playing certain emotional beats that were
But
familiar.
most people aren't going to think that unless
Yeah.
you're listening to this right now, and I'm
Yeah.
sorry.
But you know what? Here's what I will say. We go right from that to a Spider-Man action sequence.
Which was really cool.
Which, I think is one of the best realized Spider-Man action sequences ever.
Yeah.
The whole thing where he's swinging, and he's on the truck and he's trying to save the plutonium and he's making wisecracks and he's mocking the bad guy who's played by Paul Giamatti. It was the Spider-Man that I read as a kid.
Right.
that I watched on TV. It was pitch perfect.
Yeah.
So to me, that was a very promising start.
Totally agree.
And then we go to straight from that we go to Batman Forever, where with Jamie Foxx as Jim Carrey.
Yeah. Jamie Foxx.
I have. Go ahead.
No. Good.
Well, I have so many issues with his character in this movie, and it's not really Jamie Foxx's fault. None of it is his fault.
No, I've heard this before. This isn't an original thought, but he could be cut out of this movie and you wouldn't even notice.
Now, why is that? Explain that to me.
Because I'll tell you, this is what Electro does in the movie. He is a guy who Spider-Man saves, and so then he becomes obsessed with Spider-Man. And the only reason you know that is because of one scene where he's talking to a poster of Spider-Man. And then, you know he's not appreciated at his job because, they pretty much say, like, you're not appreciated here. And he's like, I'm not appreciated here. And then they, give him, make him go in the basement, and he gets, falls into his vat and becomes electrified. And then he emerges from it. And then Spider-Man doesn't pay attention to him like he used to, and he gets mad, and then he dies. I mean, that's nothing. He affects nothing. He is, and I'm not trying to like blah 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 down on this, but it is like he's completely non-developed.
Yeah. Well, a lot of the mechanics of like he like before he becomes Electro, he's Max Dillon. And he's got this like comb over and this pocket protector with like 50 million pens in it and like gap teeth. Like he's like he came out of the Saved by the Bell nerd factory.
Right. Yeah, sure. It's like a Halloween costume.
Yeah, exactly. So there's that, and then his whole origin. It's like 5 p.m. on a Friday, and the biggest building in the city, like the hub of electricity in the city, is like, hey, random guy. Go fix this thing. There's no one here to help you. Like, it makes no sense.
And he goes, but it's my birthday.
Right?
Get away with you.
Yeah.
Nerd. Yeah, nerd.
BJ Novak is like, nerd. And so that whole thing. No, but here's one thing though. So he gets electrocuted and whatever, becomes Electro. Fine. There is a scene. I thought this was cool. He shows up in Times Square and he's all like screwed up. It doesn't know what's going on. So Spider-Man shows up, and he's like, Spider-Man, like, you saved my life. And the movie has Spider-Man remember him.
Yep. Which I thought was cool. Yeah.
I thought that was cool because the easier thing to be would have been he's like, who are you? I don't remember you.
Yep.
Right.
Yeah.
But he's like, oh yeah, you're Max, right? I love.
He's like,
that.
You're my eyes.
I really like. To me, that was one of those things where, as I'm watching it, I was like, good. Like in my head, I was like, good.
Yeah.
And that made me buy Spider-Man a lot more. It did not make me buy Electro's heel turn.
Right.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because really, they need to somehow get him to be a bad guy. But they don't really give him the reason to be a bad guy,
Yeah.
Against Spider-Man, anyway, because he has that line. He's like, I want to envision a world without this, and without this, and without Spider-Man. Like, dude, the guy tried to help you. Like,
Yeah. Well, during that scene, it reminded me, we talked about The Matrix, a couple of weeks ago.
Mm-hmm.
And when The Matrix came out, everybody was trying to do this like slow down action sequence, push the camera around in on what's going on, the detail, sort of, kind of what 300 went and ran with, where the speed ramping thing. And they do that in this sequence when Electro is attacking, with his lightning bolts and stuff. And normally I don't like it, but I thought it was really effectively used here.
Yeah,
because you get a sense for Spider-Man's Spidey senses.
Right.
Like he can sort of see, like, oh, like he's shooting out this electricity, and that woman's about to put her hand on a handrail, and this guy's about to run into this thing, and you like see the camera spins around, you see everything that he sees, and then in a flash, he takes care of all of it. I thought that was pretty cool.
I think it's a neat way of visualizing his universe there.
Yeah.
the way he sees things. Yeah. Now we should. I mean, we got to talk about the other villain in the movie, who to me he made a less positive impression, and this was Dane DeHaan as Harry Osborn.
Oh, I thought you were about to make a joke.
There's lots of jokes that can be made, but I want to hear your thoughts on this. Now to me, I liked Dane DeHaan in Chronicle.
Mm-hmm.
I did not like him in here.
I'm gonna be honest. I didn't think about it very much. Like, it sounds like you might have.
Well, this is, as you say, this isn't necessarily an original thought. I read it somewhere, but he starts at evil, and he never deviates from that through the entire movie.
Yeah, no. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, and it's funny too because he's introduced in the movie with his father passes away.
Oh, his father, by the way, Chris Cooper, who's in it for like a minute and a half.
Yeah, yeah. Well, so Peter, being his best friend in the whole world, decides to show up at his house to reach out and say, hey, I lost my parents too. Didn't know they were best friends in the whole world. He's never talked about them before, but I guess I have to believe him.
See, it's fascinating because the way Harry is portrayed in this film versus James Franco's version in the it's like complete, like there's no connective tissue.
No, I totally believe that Peter and Harry were friends in the original series. Yeah,
right.
Yeah. So, I mean, I don't know, maybe being nitpicky, who knows? I mean, this movie, okay, I was going to actually save this for later, but I'll get this out of the way right now. Winter Soldier ruined superhero movies for me for probably the next 1 or 2 years.
So it peed in the pool in a good way.
In the best way possible. It was like, this is what I said when we talked about Winter Soldier. Every time we watch a movie, even a good movie, you're like, yeah, but wouldn't it have been cool if they'd done this just a little different, or if they'd done this instead? And Winter Soldier did all those things. Like, it actually dared to have a good plot. And it actually dared to show action sequences I could follow and get excited as I was watching. And it actually dared to, like, have an arc. And so now when I watch this movie and Electro is just so wasted, like you said, he turns on a dime into a villain and it makes no sense. And I just sort of look at Winter Soldier. I'm like, yeah, but you could have. Damn it, you could have.
Well, okay. Well, let's talk about something that did work for me, and that was the big climax. Yeah, and so the climax itself
with Electro.
No, well that was like whatever.
Which, by the way, looked like, remember in Attack of the Clones when they have that chase through that city, and then he's like, "Don't go through the electrical field."
That's what it looked like.
That's exactly what.
That is what it looked like. That's so true.
Yeah, that's what the ending with Electro looks like.
Yeah, that was all whatever. Okay, so it was not. Let me put it this way: the end battle with Electro, it was not like, oh, this sucks, I hate this. It was not that.
No.
But it was just like, all right, Yep. But so then, okay, so they defeat Electro, and then suddenly Harry Osborn shows. Oh, by the way, Harry Osborn is the Green Goblin at the end. I guess we should make that point.
Oh yes, that's right.
Yeah. So he's now figure this one out. So he's become the Green Goblin. Here's the progression here. He is dying of a disease that was passed on to him by his father.
Genetic disease, yes. He's inherited this disease.
We don't know anything about it, but it's killing him. And he believes that the only cure is in spider venom that Oscorp was making.
Yes.
But they've killed all their spiders and got rid of them all. So the only remaining spider venom is in Spider-Man's blood, which, by the way, Harry Osborn has no way of knowing that Spider-Man is a result of Oscorp experiments.
I didn't even realize that.
Right? I mean, it's a valid assumption, but there's no, he's staking a lot on that.
Yes.
Okay, so he tells Peter Parker, hey, I need Spider-Man's blood. Can you talk to him? Can you tell him? Okay. Peter's like, no, it's a bad idea. Okay. Harry's pissed, but he's like, okay. And then Spider-Man shows up at Harry Osborn's house and says, Harry Osborn, I can't give you my blood. Gotta go by.
Yeah.
Now Harry's really pissed to a degree far greater than he was before,
Yeah.
which you kind of can't blame him.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
it's like, well, I wasn't expecting you to show up, but then you did and said no to my face.
Right.
That's like far worse, right? Okay, so anyway, so there's that. But it's true, right? That's kind of odd.
Yeah.
So then he goes through the whole thing, and he's trying to get his company back and blah blah blah. Okay, I don't want to get into that. So then, okay, it turns out they do have some of that spider venom. He injects the spider venom inside himself, and he now becomes this shitty looking green goblin.
Mutant.
Yeah, a green brownie, you know? And so now he's still mad at Spider-Man. So he just as they defeat Electro, he shows up. Just as Spider-Man and Gwen together have defeated Electro, Harry Osborn, Green Goblin, shows up. He picks up Gwen Stacy, drops her down a clock tower. Spider-Man tries to save her. He doesn't make it.
Yep.
Now, I feel like the ending of that sequence with the death of Gwen Stacy was so well done and so brilliantly executed, and the payoff was so good that, to me, it bought so much credibility that I was able to forgive a whole lot of everything that came before.
I didn't realize it. We talked about this in an email. But yeah, it really did. I mean, it had such a strong ending, this movie. So it's like you kind of forget about... And again, I mean, this is what we do. We talk... It's fun to bring up the things, the shortcomings and the nitpicks, because it's like, did you notice this? And did you know that? But, right. I mean, it's not giving the movie enough credit, because it's a fun movie. You know, and there are good moments in it. And this is one of them. I mean, this moment was so effective. Like, I was really sad. Yeah. And, like, there's a moment where it's, you know, it shows her funeral.
Yeah.
And Peter walks up to the, you know, everybody leaves, and he walks up to the gravestone. And then it very subtly elapses time. I didn't even notice it at first.
Yeah.
And then it just shows him over the seasons continuing to visit the grave. And I mean, for a movie that's been so silly at points and whatever, like, I was totally moved by that moment. That was very good, a very strong moment.
To me, I mean, even before that, his reaction to knowing she's dead was really well played. And I mean, it's, you know, in the first film, right? I mean, if you follow Spider-Man comics to any great degree, you know Gwen Stacy has to die.
Yeah.
It's just a thing. Like, Gwen Stacy died. She's Spider-Man's girlfriend who died. She's the one he didn't save. In the comics, it's even worse, actually, because in the comic, it's the Green Goblin. He tosses her off the George Washington Bridge, and he grabs her with his web, but he breaks her neck.
Oh, wow. I didn't know that.
Yeah, so she's unconscious, right? And so he snakes her with the web, and in the comic, you have the panel of him. He snakes her with the web, and there's a sound, you know, a sound effect. Snap.
Oh my gosh, that's horrifying.
Yeah, I know, exactly. But it's one of those things where, like, she would have died regardless.
Right.
It was, you know, there's no good way. But in this, they do a variation of that. But it's that same idea that just, you know, we've become so conditioned to, like, oh, the hero's going to save her at the last minute.
Yeah.
That was my beef with Iron Man 3 when Gwyneth Paltrow doesn't die.
Right.
You know, they should have consciously uncoupled at the end of Iron Man 3.
Well played.
Thank you. By the way, random tangent, but did you see this? Gwyneth Paltrow made some comment about how, like, she has a harder job than working moms.
I read the headline. I didn't actually read the quote or anything.
I read the thing where she's like, you know, I'm on sets all day, and, you know, I'd rather just, I'd have it easier if, you know, I'm just going 9 to 5 at the office, and it's like, it's so tone deaf.
Yeah.
That's the, you know, and I was thinking, like, see, this is kind of why I'm glad I don't live in LA. Where that kind of thinking is normalized to a degree, you know?
Yeah.
But regardless, like, I remember that was my beef at the end of Iron Man 3, where it's like, just kill her, you know, like, let there be some stakes.
Right.
But in a way, it's like, that shows how we were so conditioned to that idea, the last minute save.
Mm-hmm.
And to have it, because Rachel dies in Dark Knight, and that's very poignant too. But I feel like there's an even greater degree of poignancy in the way this death scene is played out because of the fact that he has to hold her in his arms.
Yeah, and he was warned continually.
He was warned
to leave her alone.
That's the thing, because at the end of so the first movie, he says, Captain Stacy, Dennis Leary says, stay away from her and blah blah blah. At the end of that first movie, he's basically like, "Oh, I'm going to break that promise."
Yeah,
and I remember seeing that movie end, and I was like, "This is going to seem a lot like it's going to flow much better if they do what they got to do with Gwen Stacy."
Mm-hmm.
And, I read this article on Forbes today by Scott Mendelson talking about how by killing off Gwen Stacy, the series has shot itself in the foot.
In what way?
Well, in the sense that Emma Stone adds so much to it.
Oh.
And he was making the point that, there isn't a lot of buzz about this movie, and yet it's done very well thus far. Right?
Yeah.
And so the point he was making is that shows how much appeal the character has. But like
Spider-Man?
Spider-Man, yeah.
Yeah.
But he was like, I mean, what next now after you've killed off Gwen Stacy?
Well, I mean, yeah. I mean, there's something to be said about Emma Stone and how much people like her. But I mean, Spider-Man, a movie comes out next year with Spider-Man. Who knows who the villain is? Like, everyone's going to go. It's still going to make $95 million.
Well, okay. Well, this segues into my next question that I had for you. Now, this movie is open to just under $92 million. I think it's like $91.6 million. People are already calling it a flop, calling it a disappointment.
Which is amazing.
Which is right. Now here's this is the point I've been making. First of all, what universe are we in where a $90+ million opening weekend is a flop or a disappointment? I just don't see that, right? But here's the thing. So this thing cost about $250 million. My argument is that, well, Sony, they know what they're doing.
Yeah.
Because let's say this thing tops out at about $750 million. They said they wanted to make $1 billion. Let's assume that's out of the table. That's out.
I forgot about that. Yeah.
That was idiotic.
That's not going to happen.
Let's assume that's off the table. Let's say this ends up box office global about 750. Let's say, okay. That's not where the revenue ends.
Yeah,
because they'll get to keep making money off this movie forever. I mean, this isn't some random indie movie. This is part of a major franchise that they'll get to air on TV forever, and they'll get to repackage on home video forever, and they've got all these tie-ins and whatnot, right? So, I mean, this is not the same thing. $250 million is a lot of money, but there's some recognition, right, that they're going to see that money back.
Yeah.
I mean, give me your take, because you've spent more times kind of toiling in the Hollywood salt mines.
Well, no, I mean, just what you said. This movie... Well, anyone thinking that $750 million is underwhelming, needs to get their head checked. and I get it. Obviously, I get it. But you just, you can't. Spider-Man isn't Batman, isn't Superman, isn't whatever. You can't expect them all to be completely equal. You know what I mean? Within a range, sure.
Sure.
But just to think that, because I have a Marvel character and Marvel movies make $1 billion, then my movie's going to make $1 billion.
But Brian, I mean, this is Spider-Man. I mean, he's the most prominent single Marvel character, right? I mean, isn't that a fair?
Well, and then it goes back to what you just said, that article, which is really interesting. I do feel that way. I mean, even back with the first one, I never read Spider-Man growing up, but I remember the first movie with Tobey Maguire, Sam Raimi.
Movie. Okay.
I remember I was at work one night, and everybody was going at midnight. And I was like, oh, okay. I just went because everyone else was going. And everybody was so excited about this movie. And then all the sequels, everybody's so excited. I enjoy Spider-Man, but I just do not feel the same way about him as everyone else does.
Right.
And the same goes for these movies. It just feels like he's not going to make, let's say Captain America. I know this last one did pretty well, but Captain America makes $70 million or something like that. You feel good about it.
Right.
You know what I mean? But like Spider-Man, you expect like, oh yeah, he's gonna make 90, he's gonna make 100, he's gonna make something around that.
Well,
but
I mean,
at the same time,
Spider-Man 1 opened the 2002 Spider-Man was the first movie to ever make more than 100 million in a single, right? So that was a big deal. That was the white whale,
right?
And
but even this one, like, I'm not surprised that it made 90 some million. I mean, that's a lot of money.
That is a lot of money, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, like Harry Potter movies opened at like 90 some $million.
Yeah, I mean, I think the vernacular is very interesting because I went, Saturday, the day after the movie opened was Free Comic Book Day.
Oh yeah,
and so I went to the comic book shop, and the guy who runs the comic shop is a great guy, and he knows I'm a critic. He's like, "Oh, what'd you think of Spider-Man?" This, that. And he's like, "Did you see the opening weekend? This thing's a disaster." I was like, I don't think it's a disaster. It's like, I was like, I want more 90 million disasters if that's the case,
For sure. But what's interesting, and I want to say, now I have two thoughts. I got to pick one. I'll go back to the article that you said.
Say them both.
All right. Well, I'll go back to the article you said, where he said that there wasn't a buzz about this movie. It's like, I feel that actually. I don't feel a buzz with this movie, but totally it still made about $100 million.
Mm-hmm. So explain that. I mean, how does that happen?
I don't even know what that is, to be honest. I don't know what that is.
Yeah.
So, this movie might not.
So are
people going to repeat view this movie? Probably, but not to the degree that they might.
I'm not going to lie. I think that this movie has a great repeat value with like the teenage girl set.
Yeah, I see that.
Because the screening I went to, there were girls who were straight up bawling at the end, or like not at the end, not at the end, but like when Gwen dies.
Yeah,
like you could hear them crying.
Wow.
And I laughed and laughed. I was pointing at them.
I gotta say, I kind of like that. This is a little bit of a tangent, but when I watched Chef tonight, I sat next to these girls, and they were. Not vocal, but they would laugh pretty loudly, or they would like, "Aw," like really loudly. And it's funny because I know that would annoy some people, but I liked it. Like, I was like, this movie is clearly, these girls are responding to what they're watching, and they're like, there's just, you don't want it to become distracting, but like, I like being in a theater filled with people responding. We're all responding at the same time to the same thing.
Right.
And so when you say that about those girls crying, I mean, that's kind of cool, I mean, the movie really got its hooks in them, and like that's what I enjoy about the theater,
Yeah, well, I mean, anytime you get an emotional reaction, I mean, that's a genuine reaction.
Yeah.
Whether it's a laugh or a cry.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, to me, that shows that they're doing something right. I mean, you have an emotional reaction to Gwen dying because they've done such a masterful job of building up their relationship.
Yeah. Well, at the top of the movie, you have Peter breaking up with her.
Right.
He's reluctant about it. She's reluctant about it. She's frustrated about it. And so you feel this sort of like, you get where he's coming from. He's doing the right thing by doing it, but they both want to be together, so you want them to be together.
Yeah. So
that was very effective. Their relationship throughout the movie is totally works, and that's why that ending works.
Right.
Yeah.
So where does the series go from here? Because obviously they've set it up so that they're going to do this stupid friggin' Sinister Six idea, which I don't have enough bad things to say about it because I think it's such a cockamamie concept. What do you see happening? What's the future of this series for you?
For me, I don't know, but I feel like they're just gonna keep. I just feel like everyone's gonna keep going as long as Spider-Man has a movie.
Yeah,
and you reboot it again, people are still gonna go because even if it's not that great, people want to see a Spider-Man movie. That's just what I've observed from the past 10+ years.
See, my feeling is I think they've blown their wad as far as a reboot goes.
In what way?
In the sense that I think they got one reboot and now they're in this world and they're stuck.
Oh, I see. Yeah, well, I don't know. But I mean, look at the things that did work in this movie. I felt like like you said, the opening sequence was really cool. I thought the Electro sequence in Times Square was cool. I thought the Rhino thing at the end, actually, I was going to bring that up with you. But
okay.
But the action, I thought was pretty good.
I agree.
So I think there's a lot of potential for, all right, new villain, new cool Spider-Man sequences. I think the thing that they do have going against them, I guess, like you said, they really got us endeared toward Emma Stone and Gwen Stacy, and so it might be really difficult to introduce Mary Jane.
Yeah, well, and I think I don't know this for certain, but I think that might be part of the reason why they cut out Shailene Woodley.
Yeah,
was because of just negative reaction.
It'd be hard to know. Yeah, It almost feel like lacking in taste or something.
Yeah,
you know? Yeah. I imagine the next movie's going to end, like she'll be introduced, and it'll like the idea of them possibly being able to date will be how it ends.
Right.
Just to get people.
See, I despised the way Mary Jane was portrayed in the previous series.
Yeah.
Completely separate from Kirsten Dunst and her pumpkin-sized head. Totally unrelated to the fact that it has its own gravitational pull. Completely separate to the fact that if she stands in front of you, all ambient light gets blocked out. No connection to that at all.
Yeah.
But that's all. No,
that's it.
No, but I hated the relationship because it was such a weird, like, unhealthy relationship.
Mm-hmm.
You know, there was no. I didn't feel any love between them. Whereas you feel such a genuine affection between them in these movies, between Peter and Gwen, and part of that is because obviously they're dating in real life.
Yeah.
So
I didn't even think about that till we're talking about it right now, but that's gonna be really hard to convince audiences that he's in love with someone else.
Yeah, I mean, because there has been such an investment of because in the comics, right? In the comics, Peter and Mary Jane were married.
Mm-hmm.
For like a long time, but Gwen died in like 74, and then Peter and Mary Jane didn't get married until 87, right?
Oh.
And
So
they had some time, and I mean it's like because I remember, obviously Gwen Stacy was dead long before I was born, and I remember reading that story, her death story. I was in probably 3rd or 4th grade, I think. But Mary Jane had always been a supporting cast member, right? And it's very interesting because I think about this, like they were friends, and you got to see their friendship grow and become love. And it's something that you can do in comics,
Yeah. Well, I was gonna say they already plotted out like 5 more movies, so.
But they're gonna have to do it without Andrew Garfield.
Wait, what do you mean?
Well, I mean,
because he won't be around for 5 movies.
I mean, Andrew Garfield is 30 right now, right?
Wow.
So let's be realistic. He's got maybe 2 more.
Yeah.
Tops. I mean, he's a youthful 30.
Yeah.
But you can't.
Well, I wonder how many they. I mean, setting up for this Sinister Six thing. I don't know when that's supposed to be. Is that 1 movie, 2 movies?
That's going to be 1 movie, and it's going to be directed by Drew Goddard.
Oh, so there's 1 more Mark Webb film.
Mark Webb Spider-Man. Mark Webb Spider-Man. Yeah. So Mark Webb.
After that,
they're not gonna reboot the series. They're gonna continue on, but it's gonna be with a new star and a new director. Yeah. And what's his name? They're also doing a Venom movie.
Oh right, I did hear about that.
Alex Kurtzman is gonna direct that.
Okay.
So. I mean, I'm a fan of Spider-Man, but I'm just like I don't have any interest in these,
Yeah.
I think that Sony's overplaying their hand, and I think they realize that by cranking this other crap out, that it allows them to keep the rights.
Oh yeah, for sure.
That's all
Sony is not. These are not their best days.
All they have is Spider-Man, really.
That's it. Yeah.
And I'll tell you something else. Sony has got to be looking at the Godzilla grosses and just hoping against hope that movie flops. Just so they can be like, hey, see, it wasn't just us,
Yeah.
But as we wrap things up on the Amazing Spider-Man front, any other thoughts that you didn't mention earlier?
No, I mean, that's just it. Like I said, you get frustrated with certain things in there, like Electro and just being completely like a waste, even though he had potential and things like that. But I enjoyed it. I thought it's not. I'm not gonna probably revisit it unless it's on TV or something. But it didn't make a huge impact on me. But I enjoyed it. It was an enjoyable time.
Yeah, I mean, what I wrote in my review is that I wasn't blown away, but I was satisfied.
Yeah.
Yeah. It ended. Exactly. I was like, all right, yeah. Now you mentioned the rhino. I'm assuming you were not satisfied with the rhino.
The ending. I just found it really weird that there's this guy with machine guns.
Yeah.
And there's just a crowd with children standing behind a barrier nearby.
Yeah, like, hey, look at the weird guy.
Yeah, almost like it was a parade or something.
Right.
I was like, why are they standing there? I don't know. That's it.
Well, I had read a thing, an interview with Paul Giamatti where he had mentioned like a while ago, like, oh, I would love to play the rhino. That was like a thing he said. And so I feel like Marvel's like, or not Marvel, like the people making the movie are like, hey, get him on the phone, like let's just write him into the movie because it feels so arbitrary.
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't even. I mean, I'm just being silly, I guess. I did think it was really weird that these kids were standing at this barrier as this guy was screaming and shooting a machine gun. It's like, why aren't they running inside a building?
Right.
But I got it. It was clearly. Yeah, it was sort of a here's the next Spider-Man or Peter Parker, really, picking up the pieces and moving on like he needs to do and doing his job. Yeah, it was like a little teaser for. He's back in the game.
It's not like a cliffhanger ending, like to be continued. No. It's just like Spider-Man's gonna kick his ass,
right?
And that's the end of the movie. Yeah. I wasn't a fan of that big contraption that he was in. It just looked ridiculous to me.
Oh, I see. Yeah, I like I said, I haven't read Spider-Man, so I don't know what Rhino really looks like.
Oh yeah, good point. I'll have to show you a picture of him.
Yeah.
But regardless, that brings us right up to the end of another episode of our show.
Yeah.
Wow, we blazed through that conversation.
Yeah, we sure did.
So, Brian, where can people find you online?
At everythingbrian.blogspot.com, Brian with an I.
And are you on Twitter?
I am, in fact. Hey, Zaki, if I ever have any even minute success on Twitter, all credit will go to you.
I'm trying to help you, brother.
Yeah, I have a ghost town of a Twitter account at everythingbrian.
And of course, you can find me at Zaki's Corner, that's ZAKIS Corner, and also at the Huffington Post, where my movie reviews go up regularly, as well as the MovieFilm Podcast. You can also find us at MovieFilmPodcast.com and at our Facebook page, which is Facebook.com/MovieFilm Podcast. And of course, you can shoot us your emails with any questions, comments, or concerns at moviefilmpodcast@gmail.com. Also, make sure to find us on iTunes or Stitcher Radio. Write us a review on iTunes because every little bit helps, and all the feedback that you give us helps us make this show better for you, hopefully. And with that, I wrap up this week's episode. Make sure you tune in 2 weeks as we talk up Godzilla. We've got lots to say about that. And then 2 weeks after that, we will be talking about X-Men Days of Future Past. And every episode from here through August, we'll have a big new summer release that we'll be picking apart. So lots of fun times coming up. And with that, on behalf of my colleague Brian Hall and the absent Sean Coyle, my name is Zaki Hassan. This is the Movie Film Podcast. We'll see you in 2 weeks.
Welcome,